what's up? Merry Christmas. I'm the Zim. This is the Zim video. This is volume 3, part 4 of my rideshare experience video series. Been making since I started driving for Lyft February 2nd, 2017. I've done, as of today, as you can see, I've done 10,627 rides. Alright, let's do it. Thank you a lot for subscribing. Let's see. Subscribing in the corner over there, or down on the screen. It's awesome. Love it. Going for 100,000 subscribers. Can I get it? Can you help me get there? I love your help. So today, right now, is Christmas Day. It's all calmed down. Has it calmed down for you? It's calmed down for me. We did Christmas Eve. We did Christmas morning, and then my kids went off with their mom to their adventures, and now I'm just chilling. So I thought I'd record this video. It's going to be kind of shorter today. I only have one question from you. We'll get to that later on, but right now let's get into how much I made. This is how much I made. So I did $1,054.84 was deposited in my account. Got $2 more in cash tips, as you can see in my heads up display. So that brings it to $1,056.84. I did $126.18 in tips, total tips, including the cash this week, which, you know, just puts me $3 above, basically $3 above my 123 rides, which I did this week. 123 rides. I did it in about 45 app hours, which is a little slightly longer than normal. So it came to about $23.50 an hour, roughly. This week, let's put up, I think there's that. Let's put up the daily slide. This week, just so you can see what's going on, I'm not sure I'm going to talk about, I'll talk about it in a second, but this week, Lyft gave me 3 tiers. So, as you recall from my first video of, volume 3, sorry for that, for volume 3, the first part of volume 3, I read to you a letter I wrote to Lyft, and one of the things I mentioned in that letter was the lack of enough tiers that if I choose to drive less, I don't make as much. You know, they're not helping me achieve being successful, because they only allow me to be successful if I grind my face off and always get 123 rides or 145 rides. But this week, maybe in response to the letter, maybe, but possibly not. But they gave me 3 tiers, which is the first tier was 72 rides, which is pretty cool. So if I choose to if they keep this 72 ride tier, then I can easily get a little bit more money if I choose to only work 3 days, because I do my 24 or 25 rides a day, which 72 rides gets me there. But this week also was the first time since the beginning of the ride challenge bonus structure they have, that they gave me more money for the 123 ride tier. They gave me the most they had given me up till this week was $199, and this week they gave me $200. So $1 more. Thanks, Lyft, for that $1 more. This current week that we're in right now, once I start driving, it dropped down to $189 for the $123 ride tier. Why? I have no idea. I wish they would explain. You know, I wish they wouldn't move it around so much. Last week's would be like, I mean, obviously the best. Last week's tier levels were getting just around $200 for the 123 rides makes me feel real good. You know, always want more, but less than that just feels like they're taking, you know, slightly taking advantage of me, or it's just like, just doesn't feel right. It just feels icky. I mean, why would you offer 200 one week and then 177 another week? You know, it's like, it feels like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, hopefully Lyft decides to keep this around $200 going for the 123 ride tier. It works for me. It feels better than not having that much. So a couple things to mention. I did last week I worked Wednesday through Sunday. 2 weeks ago I worked Wednesday through Sunday. Last week I worked Monday through Friday. and then into Saturday, as you can see, there's 5 days or 6 days on the daily breakdown, because I wanted to be done basically on Saturday through Sunday through today, Christmas. So I had 4 days off. I'm reminded, as I'm talking, I'm remembering things I wanted to talk about that happened last week. I'll write them down real quick. Ended up driving somewhat 6 days, almost 6. I mean, the 6th day was really short. I only needed 6 rides, but I did 5 days, so I did 10 days, 10 plus days in a row, starting 2 Wednesdays ago. So it was pretty hard. I mean, it wasn't as hard as I felt it in the past, because as I mentioned, I'm kind of just, all I'm doing these days is driving, sleeping, driving, sleeping. You know, like drive, sleep, nap, nap, sleep, drive, overnight sleep, drive, nap, sleep, drive, overnight sleep. That's like basically all I'm doing when I'm driving. So it's helping me, helping the sustainability. Does nothing for having a life. Like, I can't have a life, but I can be sustainable and make this job happen. So I'm doing it up. And that's just the approach I've been having lately. So, but I managed to get done basically before the weekend. 6 rides wasn't a big deal. I got up really early, 6 o'clock, got my 6 rides and got home basically before my kids got up. And we were able to celebrate the weekend. Went and saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which was amazing. Such a good movie. Oh, I highly recommend it. So good. So that's what happened there. I think that's all that really happened with my rides last week. What happened, went down. So if you have any questions about how much I made, hit me up. Happy to break it down for you. And that's what's going on there. Let's get into some of the experience that happened this week. I'll do my question first, and then I'll do some experiences I had just in general. The question, I only have one question, came through on Instagram. I'm going to leave the name anonymous because it's kind of personal. So we're just going to leave it anonymous, but it says, how do you pay for the gas? That is my problem. The car rental and not having a credit card to fund the gas purchases is rendering me to driving part-time and barely having enough to pay for the weekly rental. So my thoughts around this whole idea. There's a couple things that came up, and then we went back and forth. Me and this person went back and forth a couple things, but it kind of snowballed into just lifestyle choices. And I'm just going to talk about what I think about how to make this successful, how to get to a point. Like you're behind the 8 ball, let's say, a little bit. Like it sounds like this person is. They're behind it a little bit. They're trying to get ahead. They want to do this job. They want to figure out a way to do it. So basically, first of all, as I've mentioned the last 2 weeks about the gas conversation and money has come up. With gas, I just put aside $200 every week. $200 right off the top. Basically, it's in a separate account. It's like I get my deposit, I get $200 put aside. This person was like, well, I can't even figure out how to get ahead enough to get that $200 to put aside. So then it comes into this a couple things. First is you have to find out what the reality, what the realistic expectations of the job are. How much can you realistically make? San Diego, you can realistically make $800 to $1,000 if you're in the rental program, $1,000 plus if you're in your own car, because I'm showing you that. I've shown you that is guaranteed. You can guarantee if you do the process that I do, you are guaranteed to make at least $800 if you're in the rental, $1,000 if you're in your own car. I've shown you that multiple times. Do it. You know, how many hours? 40 to 45, maybe 50 sometimes hours a week. Working the right times a day, you'll make that money. So you have to figure out in your area, what is the realistic expectation of what I can make? And unfortunately, Lyft doesn't tell you that right at the get, right out. Like, they don't tell you anything about how much you can make realistically. They have that $35 an hour thing that they say and different things like that. But where's that $35 an hour number come from? They don't explain it. They never tell you where to make that $35 an hour, how many hours you can make it. I personally have never made $35 an hour on a consistent basis. I've never made it even, maybe for 1 hour somewhere, but of course since I work full time, it's, I'm doing an 8 to 10 hour day, so over a span of 8 to 10 hour days, my average is probably between $23 and $27 an hour. That's before expenses, mind you. So that's this thing. So you have to learn on your own. What is the realistic expectation? And set your expectations to be appropriate for your area. So that's number one thing. And that the only way to do that is to just get out there and drive and figure it out and do it and put the hours in. You know, I've been saying, I think you should just do more than you think at first. You know, set aside 50 hours a week to go drive and figure it out. You know, 50 hours of app time, not 50 hours of I'm going to work but lunch takes an hour, blah, blah, blah takes an hour. 50 hours of app time. The app is on for 50 hours in your car, driving around, figuring it out. 50 hours a week, I think that's a good place to start. Get out there and do it. And then as time goes on, like, you can probably shave off about 10 hours or so because you'll figure it out. You'll know where to be. You'll be more efficient, different things. But it takes time to do that. So that's number one. You have to personally go through the motions and figure out what the realistic expectation of how much you can make in your area is. Number one thing. The number two thing is, and sideline, while you're doing that, you might have to tighten the belt a little bit and just decide what's important and what you need to do if you want to make this job and to work out for you. Just like anything in life, right? You may have to figure out where it is you need to tighten the belt. Do you buy lattes every day? Do you go out and get drinks with your friends? Pretty common. Or do you even, I don't know, there's lots of things. Where do you spend your money that you might not need to? Do you have cable? You know, maybe you can get rid of your cable. Maybe you, I mean, with this job it's pretty important to have a good internet service, but maybe there's somewhere you can, not internet service, sorry, cell phone service, phone service. It's pretty important to have a good phone and good phone service because you rely on it for the job. But where are places that you can cut out expenses? Is there's something about something like your phone service that's you're paying way more than you need. I do the Verizon $85 unlimited data plan. That's what I pay every month, $85. Works out for me. I think that's pretty reasonable for unlimited data and the best network. It's pretty much universally accepted. Verizon's the best network. So those are a couple of things to consider. Just where can you, maybe for a month, maybe for 2 months, just really look at your expenses. What I do on my computer is I have QuickBooks. I know exactly where all my money goes and comes in. Everything I spend is tracked through QuickBooks. Everything. So I know exactly where I'm spending money that I might not need to. You know, I feel like in my particular situation, I feel like I run it pretty tight. I make some choices like Christmas. I spent probably more than I should have on my kids and things like that. But, you know, I know where it's coming and going. And as you can see, I got a pretty good rhythm with my income with this job. I know what to expect now. So, but it took, I mean, I've been into it 2 years now. It took me a while to really figure out what the realistic expectations are in my area. So that's some thoughts around getting started. Like, you're having trouble just like, how can I afford this job? How can I do it? I want to do this. I want the independence, but I'm struggling to just make it happen. Just, I don't know, to just do a little bit of soul searching and really look at what the expectation of the job is, what you can realistically do, and where you're spending your money, and where maybe you can cut out a little bit to help you get that rhythm going. Get that rhythm going. So, any more questions on that, feel free. And as always, it's up to you to make this show happen. So if you want your questions talked about or answered, or thoughts or ideas, all the ways to do it right there. You can comment on these videos. I'll definitely hit it up there. You can go to Instagram. You can go to the_Tim@hotmail.com. Great ways to do it. Okay, there's a couple things. The first thing, there's 3 things that came up this week that I just wanted to talk about. First, I wrote down is I actually did some Facebook promoted posts on these videos to try to get the word out a little bit more, see if people could get interested in the videos. It didn't really work. Obviously need to do it a different way. I'm not sure. I just basically took the last video and promoted it. I gave it a $100 budget and ended up only spending $33 because it really didn't do that much. So that's that. That's what's going on there. So if you want to help me out, if you think what I'm talking about is of value to the community of rideshare drivers and more, share it with people. Share it with the user groups in different areas and different things like that. I'd love it for you to do that. That'd be awesome. And then, so last week, let's see, I'll put up a shot. I went to the driver appreciation lunch here in San Diego. They gave us a couple of food trucks. I got the hamburger, and then what else? And then they had a raffle for some things. I didn't win anything this time. No raffle wins, but they did give me another bag. It's right here. So I got a bag, one of these guys again. I already have one of these, so now I have 2 of these bags. Oh, and inside of it is an air freshener, Lyft air freshener. So that's what I got from Lyft this week, or last week at the driver appreciation lunch. Did that up, talked to some people. It was pretty neat. I don't remember a lot of the conversations, but just hung out, did the thing. So that's what happened. And then I went and I serviced my car this week. So when I dropped my car off for service, I actually took a Lyft, 2 Lyfts, one away and one back. And then I did that, and then I went to the movies that I mentioned, Into the Spider-Verse, and took 2 Lyfts there. Out of the 4 Lyfts that I took myself, 3 of them were awesome. Clean car, amazing, friendly conversations, really good, felt comfortable. People pretty much knew how to get to where they were going, and it was no big deal. It was happening. One person, not so much. One person didn't have a cell phone holder, looking down, didn't know where she was going. Just like really terrible driving. So again, not all drivers are created equal, and I actually rated her 3 stars because I don't want to be paired with her again. And I'm that type of person that I'll rate according to the way I think should be rated. Obviously, people rate me according to how they think I should be rated. This is one of my lower ratings I've had in a while, 4.88. So that's the way I feel about it. I know there is a sentiment about that. As a driver, you should always rate other drivers 5 stars or whatever high. But I'm not that type of driver. If somebody is clearly not doing the job that well, they're basically making us all look bad as drivers, and I think they should be rated accordingly. And I told her in the car, I said, you need a cell phone charger. And then when I left the car, I rated her 3 stars and wrote, get a cell phone charger. Holder. Because it just wasn't working out. She was like, it was not a fun ride. Let's put it that way. So that's the way I feel about it. I'll probably get some S for that, but that's the way I do it. So there it is. So Merry Christmas once again. Hopefully you all had a great Christmas. If you want to, become a driver, Lyft driver, use my referral code. It's ZIM200, and you and I both get a bonus no matter what city you're in. If you want to follow along a little bit closer or ask me questions, it's Instagram at RideshareZim on Instagram. Check it out. I post pretty much every day except for when I'm not driving, really. Those are the only times I'm not posting over there. And then I do a daily podcast. It's Creative Mind, it's called, and it's on all the podcast places: iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts, I should say, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. And Anchor.fm/thezim is kind of the home for it. So check it out. I talk a lot about rideshare driving over there, and just everything else about my creative process and what it means to be a creative. And then what else? Last thing is patreon.com/thezim. Check it out if you want to support me being able to do more videos, get out of debt, and other things. Love your support to do all that. So patreon.com/thezim. Check it out. Alright, until next time, until next week, be excellent to each other. May your rides along and your tips be big.